Hello friends, this is Harvey Mandan. Welcome to the review of the Samsung Galaxy Pocket, Samsung's new budget phone, Android. Let's have a look at some of the good things and some of the bad things about this phone. First of all, let's check out what the system is in About Phone. We can see it's running Android 2.3.6, which is Gingerbread. And on top of that, obviously, we have the TouchWiz UI, which I think is specially modified for this phone. Let's have a look at storage. We have the media storage for photos, music, films, etc. just under 2.2 gigabytes. And for the system, for installation of apps and system, just under a gigabyte. Not a huge amount, but of course you can add an SD card to increase that, so shouldn't be a problem. Let's have a look at the RAM. We look at the Task Manager, and the RAM, according to this, 289 megabytes, which again, not a huge amount. If you're going to be running some RAM-hungry games or apps, might be a problem. But so far, the UI has been very smooth. It's only 800 megahertz processor, but doesn't seem to suffer any kind of lag in the system. All very smooth and flowing. Some of the enhancements for this TouchWiz version, we can see in the calendar, for example. It's got a decent calendar, nicer than the old TouchWiz calendar, but no widget on this for the calendar, which is rather strange. What else is good? Well, the dialer is pretty good. It has T9 functionality, always very useful. And the keyboard on this, even though it's a very small screen, only 2.8 inches, the keyboard is pretty good, even trying to type it through the camera is not bad at all. And the T9 works very well on this. Let's try a website. The browser, again for the processor and RAM on this phone, is pretty fast. Sometimes it can be a little bit jerky in operation, but for zooming, it works pretty smoothly. Can't really complain considering the specs on this phone. The browser works very well indeed. I've tried the GPS and it was very fast to get a lock on Google Maps. The accuracy wasn't as good as on my Galaxy S2, of course. I don't know if that's software or hardware related, but it did get a very fast lock with accuracy to 40 meters. Now, some things which are not so great on this phone. I've tried with the video player to load a couple of different formats of videos, an AVI file and MOV file, and don't know if it doesn't have the codecs for that, but it doesn't seem to want to play any of those files. Probably through Keys you can change those formats to something the phone can play, but just those formats on the phone doesn't want to play them. Now the camera here is a 2 megapixel camera, and that's the kind of quality you would get. It's pretty fast, as we can see. Just see the different resolutions there. I think you get what you pay for with this camera. And of course it doesn't have any flash on the back. Another thing it doesn't have, of course, this phone hardware, is any sensors or front-facing camera. So there's no proximity sensor, which means when you make a call, the screen locks and you have to double tap it to wake the screen. Also, there's no auto brightness. You just have this brightness control here or in the settings, which may be a little irritating or may not, depends on your preference. There are no key lights here. These are just painted on, if you can see those. And also, one strange thing, there's no vibration here for the keys at all. We see in settings, sound, we have vibrate for incoming calls, but there's no vibrate setting at all for screen or for keys there, so no feedback from that, which, as you can see, I've been hitting this return key a few times, so that might be a problem. What else can I say? Well, some good things about the build quality is all of these keys on the phone are very good, tactile, very nice feeling to press those in. The USB cover is another benefit, I think, to keep the dust out of the USB. The SD card is hot swappable. It just slides in here. We can see the SD there. It's always nice to be able to take your SD out without taking the battery out of the phone. And for a small phone, it does have a very loud speaker. If we just put some music on. Loudspeaker for a very small phone, which is good to have. Now, one last thing which for me could be a deal breaker is waking up the phone has this horrible lag. Whether you wake it from the home button or from the power button, there's a 2 or 3 second delay there, which is present on something like the Galaxy S2, and it's really irritating on that. But I think on this phone, it's not dual core, it doesn't need the power management that a dual core big screen phone needs, shouldn't have this terrible wake up lag, which is really, really, really irritating. Finally, it's called the Galaxy Pocket, so it should fit in your pocket very well. Unfortunately, it's not the thinnest of phones. It's 12 millimeters thick there, so it is quite a lump in your pocket. But it does feel quite nice in your pocket. It has a nice textured back cover, which is nice to hold. So giving it a fondle factor, I would say 6 out of 10 for its touchy feeliness and how it feels in the hand. This phone is available at the moment for about €120. It's quite a good price for a decent Android phone, You will have to see what other phones are in the market at the same price and decide whether you like this phone. Thank you very much.